And part of the security here at the school is that all visitors must get their photo taken. They must also have their license scanned at this machine. And this summer, and as we get closer to this being pulled out of the ocean, this whole area gets closer to pulling itself back out of this destruction and back to normalcy. We're here with Congressman Bill Pascrell on Moonachie Avenue in Moonachie. Congressman, tell me about what you've seen so far.
Well, I've seen a lot of people hurting.
Now here in New Jersey, only 15% of people make these mega commutes, but in New York, that number is 16%. That is the top mega commuter in the country. So now the bill goes to the Republican-controlled House, where most conservative groups oppose it. But federal lawmakers from this area, one of the most diverse in the nation, say now is the time to start drumming up support. It's not just inside the school that these volunteers are trying to beautify, but you can see it's also outside. They're hoping that when these students come back in September, they have a lot to be excited about. Stilts are all that's left from the roughly half-mile boardwalk in Avon by the Sea. There's just 3 months to go until Memorial Day, and the borough is about to rebuild. But they're doing it in a way that no other shore town has dared to do.
We had Ipe there before, and we're very, very pleased with how the wood works and its sustainability and how it looks.
Ipe is a tropical hardwood logged from old-growth rainforests in the Amazon. Environmentalists say that 766 acres has to be cut down to rebuild the boardwalk. That's roughly double the size of the entire borough.
I think their decision's hasty and irresponsible. I have young kids. I'm trying to set an example, and here we are. The very thing that's caused the problem with the weather is the destruction of these rainforests, and we're using the material to do it.
Resident Eddie Vay still has parts of the boardwalk that washed up to his house last storm.
Who's to say it doesn't happen next year? Put another half mile of Ipe down? This is counterproductive.
Now you can see pieces of this older boardwalk are still here on the beach in Avon. But officials say that in just a few weeks' time, this new boardwalk, this Ipe, will be arriving here. And no matter what, it will go along this stretch.
It's legally sold in the United States, so therefore we're going forward with it. And as again, they have the right to do whatever they want to do. We have the right to defend ourselves.
So if it has to go to court, then
it goes.
every time firefighters at Squad 18 in Greenwich Village return home, they think of the ones who did not. On September 11th, 2001, 7 of their own died.
Especially around this time of year, you know, even the weather reminds you. A clear day like this, it brings you right back 11 years ago.
And on tomorrow's 11th anniversary, hundreds of thousands who survived but are suffering from cancer are expected to learn they too could be eligible for help from the federal government.
If the science shows that that's the case, which it's starting to be pretty apparent that that's the case, there was a toxic stew down there.
Previously, health officials cited a lack of scientific evidence to support a link between cancer and the toxic dust unleashed by the collapse of the Twin Towers. That means those suffering cancer could not benefit from the federal government's $4.3 billion program created under the Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Act. But tomorrow, reports say the Institute for Occupational Safety and Health will announce the inclusion of 50 different types of cancer. Now, since 9/11, about 400 first responders and people who live near Ground Zero have died. And just last week, the FDNY added 9 firefighters' names to the memorial. Meanwhile, for those still on the job, the impacts of 9/11 never fade because they never know if they too will become victims.
Yeah, we're all just walking time bombs. You know, every time I keep my fingers crossed every time I go for my medical.
If they weren't lining New York's Broadway, they were lining up outside MetLife Stadium today in East Rutherford.
Blue right there, that's Die-Hard fan right there.
It was nothing but die-hard fans waiting for hours to get inside the stadium to see their beloved champions. For many, like this family, that meant 8 a.m. arrival time.
My son told his teacher, I'm not coming in tomorrow. She said, why? I'm going to the parade. She was like, great, take pictures.
The stadium fits 82,000 people. Today, fans could park for free and enter for free to see their favorite players back on their home turf.
Go G-Men. 4 rings, baby.
Let's go Giants! Vince Lombardi right there.
And right up there with that ring, the legendary Vince Lombardi Super Bowl trophy.
Now, you hoping to get a glimpse of the real one of this?
Oh, yes, definitely. We'll probably put it right next to it.
Meanwhile, Ike Lester from Teaneck, New Jersey, making good use of some leftovers from his winning Super Bowl dinner.
We got beans here. We got chicken, skirt steak.
Plenty of Super Bowl 46 gear getting good use just 2 days after the Giants' win against the Patriots. Some fans screaming so loud they were turning blue.
And while the parade is here in New Jersey, you'd be surprised how many people ditched the parade in New York from New York and came here to see this.
Well, I live in New York with 100 million people in the city. Not happening.
I'm from New York City, and I'm here to celebrate the Giants.
This guy brought what he calls his lucky jersey. It's number 10, but it's not Eli Manning.
It's about 40 years old, and I've been wearing it for almost every Giant home game.
Think it brought them good luck this time?
Definitely. Superstitious is big time in the NFL.